Yeah, because I don't want to read something I'm not supposed to read just yet. Because
Yeah.
let me tell you, the chapter we left on with the biggest fucking cliffhanger out there.
I
I wanted
know.
to
I
keep
have to
reading.
find out how this is going.
I wanted to
Like,
keep
oh,
reading.
see, the king knows. He fucking knows.
Yes.
Or he thinks. Okay, wait. No, okay, no,
Okay. Yeah.
hold up. Because
We'll get there when we
okay,
get there.
let's stop right here. Stop right here. Okay. All right. So we're doing 15 chapters 15 through 21
21.
right now.
Yes. Okay.
All
So the
right.
recap that I just posted was that Isla was the ruler of the wildlings, has no powers, but nobody knows this except for her guardians and Celeste, who is a starling, and they met accidental. She has to participate in the Centennial for the wildlings as their ruler. 6 rulers must come together to complete the prophecy in order to break their curses. And then we find out that Isla and Celeste are working together to find a relic called the Bondbreaker to break their realm's curses. Each ruler has to have a demonstration during the Centennial. Then we find out that Isla is sneaking into each aisle and hopes to search their library to find the Bondbreaker. But strange things are happening, and Isla believes everyone knows something she doesn't know. It's kind of like the gist of everything. So, where we left off, we ended with her demonstration about to start,
Yep,
which
we
was
ended with her giving Grimm
the
the
heads up.
clue about it being a demonstration of the worth of your realm by showing something of value that it's created for the future of Lightlark.
I have a theory on Grimm here in a little bit. Or I have like, I don't know, I have like a feeling about.
Different from everybody else and just has an image. I don't know.
I
Like there's so much
feel.
more to him. Like he's not like
I
he's
would love a
dark and
backstory.
mysterious, but he's
I
like
would love
Zayden.
a
Like he has a
backstory.
heart.
I want his backstory, but at the same time, he knows something.
For
I
sure.
lost. Oh, I was gonna say I lost you there for a minute, but you're good.
It, so the Grim and
I,
Oro book. Is that is that our backstory? Because
oh.
we're gonna have to hurry up and get there
Well,
if
because
it
of what
is.
we find out, and we find out a little bit later on about a little bit of their backstory and the history between the two of them. So we do find that
Yes,
smidge. So
yes.
we do find that
And
out.
I was not expecting that,
No,
but it makes total fucking sense as
but there's
to
more to it.
oh, for
There's
sure.
definitely
Yeah.
more to it by
Yeah.
like the subtle hints.
Subtle clues and
Subtle,
yeah.
yes, that word, whatever it is. Okay, so we
Not so
know,
subtle.
yes. Okay, so we know that Isla's demonstration is next, but she
Mhm.
knew she wouldn't win this one. But she wanted them to know that wildlings were more than seductresses. Azul was first. His was a form of communication that uses wind by sending letters. They sent
Awesome to
letters.
read about. Like the way
Yes.
that they could do that was
Yes. Sending a letter through the wind.
hmm and his little note to her and stuff like that. We
About the
still have our
music.
music or whatever.
Yes.
Like that was that was a
That
great
was good.
callback to their little moment that they had together.
Cleo stated
Um,
that they had ships. And
which
there
makes
is
her more
more. And we
in that
find out
other
a little bit.
chapter.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I have like questions about that. Like it like throws questions.
Yep.
Because they had built, because she said they had many
Two
ships.
centuries. 2 centuries
And like I
to
have questions
build ships.
when we get to that. Like I have questions on that. Um, that she has a plan. Like I feel like she's got more of a plan And I'll go back, like, I'll go into that later on once we get to, like, that chapter and stuff. And then we find out that Oro didn't know. So she's been keeping this a secret. Like, he looked like he didn't know that she had ships. And that confirmed that Celeste was right, that there was tension starting to brew between all the realms.
Mm-hmm.
They're becoming more secretive about everything. And then Isla wonders if the ships could be used to bringing people back to Lightlark after all the curses are broken, or if Cleo is gonna start a war.
Mm.
I kind of feel like it's the war part. I feel like
Everything's just so secretive, especially after
after we read the
um
chapter about the Moon Isle, to me it points in the direction of
yeah,
a
because I think it's in
war.
another chapter where
It's
they
when she's
state that since the previous centennial, everybody's kind of like things have started to be strange. And
yeah.
so, like,
And we do get answers. Like, we did get some of those answers on why things are being strange for certain things. But then it
mhm,
opens up more questions. Um, see here. Celeste and her people have been working on tools using solely their power, but I think the downfall with that is it took dozens of them and a lot of effort just to make one tool. Like,
yeah,
it's a good thing. I just think it would take them too long.
yeah,
Oro had found ways to spread light and heat throughout the island. As long as the original flame does not go out, the flames produced will not go out. So whatever he makes and then like multiplies it from that first flame, he can keep them going.
yeah. I was a little bummed out by Grimm, and I feel like I would have felt the same way that Isla did as far as,
Because she
uh,
helped him.
yeah, yeah,
He stated that he had nothing to offer, but this raised up a question. Is it true? Or does he not want to share because of the history between Nightshade and Lightlark, or the sun between him and King Oro, I guess, more or less.
yeah.
Um,
It could be either way.
so maybe they do, and he's not willing to share because they went they went their own way.
Yeah.
Um, and yes, this didn't sit well with Isla for letting him know ahead of time. She wasn't very happy. And then
She thought
Isla
he made
do it.
said she felt like he made a mockery of her.
Yes. And then
He
Isla
felt the
demonstrated.
same way.
You're cutting out. I don't know if is your mic too far?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you like I heard you start talking and it cut out and then come back. So I don't
Sorry.
know if like your
Um,
mic's just not picking it up fully.
oh, I said I feel like I would have probably felt the same way
Yeah,
as her though.
because she went out of her way. She risked it because he helped her. So
Yeah.
she risked helping him. Um and then Isla demonstrated Wylene's advanced healing remedies by burning her arm until the skin was falling off, which ugh, can't imagine. And I know she talked about like the smell and the pain and everything. But they had an elixir that she had poured on her arm and it heals the skin, but it didn't take away the pain because I do believe she stated that it hadn't. I don't think it was fully ready.
Oh, they didn't perfect like taking like fully
The
100% healing
pain.
as far as yeah.
Um,
Mm-mm.
and this was pretty. I guess this also helped her in a way. I know she doesn't win. We do find out that she didn't win it, but the Moonlings were the only ones that could heal, but were now charging too much and healing less and less. And this is like kind of helps with the fact that Cleo could be starting a war. She doesn't want to help. She wants to be the one to succeed.
Yeah.
And later on, we find out a few things. I don't want to say too much on that, but I have a theory for that as well. And like, 'cause she's had it out for Isla for a while, but I think there's more to her than we know yet.
Yeah.
And she states almost wanting the rest of the island to be weaker.
Yep.
Azul, he won that round with the letters in the wind. So that's all I had for those.
Yeah, that was pretty much all that I had. It was kind of like that filler demonstration
What did I do?
chapter.
Hold on, I muted you. What did I do?
Can you hear me?
My book hit the thing. This is not going easy like I thought.
It's fine. Fine. How long was I muted for?
Not very long. When I picked up my notebook, it set it down. I have it on my keyboard.
Yeah, we're fine. It's fine.
Yeah, so and on my keyboard, it has like a little roller that does the volume. So I hit it just right. And we get some more grim banter in the next one.
Yes.
Okay, this is where it's like pretty like right into the chapter, but Grim snuck into her room through the walls. But the banter between them two, although Grim has no interest in winning the Centennial, forming alliances, or even playing the game. So why was he there? That raises the question why he was there, but he looked at her with a sad expression. He knows something, but what is it? And that comes back to my theory from the last podcast, is that they all know something and it has to deal with her. If he's looking at her with a sad expression, she's got to be part of this prophecy that she doesn't know about.
Maybe somebody being born without powers is the original offense.
Because why else would he look at her with a sad expression on the whole ordeal? Because then he, in my opinion, I feel like they all think she's the one going to die.
Yeah.
Like she's the one that has to die or something. But then he changes the subject by stating that he made it clear what he wanted. But it's not her. She did state that it wasn't her, and it's not. We just don't know why. And that's why I believe it's because the curses are getting broke. And this is where we get a little backstory.
A big twist for me.
It was.
It was a big twist. I didn't see it like learning how Lightlark was created between his ancestors and Oro's ancestors. Like I didn't see that
Is
being
this the
a thing.
offense? Like, is this the? Because how long after? How long after did the curses? It was before the curses. I don't remember if it stated like how long in between when we find out that it wasn't just the Sunling ancestor that created Lightlark. It was also the Nightshade ancestor, but greed.
It was from the very beginning. It would have been way before the curses.
Because greed is what drove them to, because they were friends. It was the greed drove them to duel it out. Yeah. And that's when Nightshades fled and formed their own land and realm. Is that why Grimm did the duel? To bring up the past? Because Nightshade and the Sunlings dueled?
Could have been.
So is that why he did a duel? To kind of like throw it in Oro's face.
Could have been. But yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see that like information being the way that it is. That them two, their
No.
ancestors both created Lightlark, and that's what led to their separation and the greed and just all of the power and stuff. But with knowing that information, that makes me wonder if something were to happen to the King of Lightlark, since it wasn't just his ancestors, like everybody believes, would everybody die out or would everybody just weaken and lose portions of
Oh, since
their
they
population and their kind, since there technically would still be like a
their
creator
realms.
alive? If Grimm is still alive, being the
Um,
ancestor of the Nightshades, like would everybody die out like they think is going to happen if something if Oro died?
ooh, never thought
It
of
could
that.
still most of them kind of like survive because nobody else knows. Isla is the first one that he confides into about it being his ancestor that helped. Like,
Right.
so
Oh, I never
I don't
thought
know.
of
That's
that.
just something that kind of like sat with me a little bit.
But
Kind
would it affect the ones that don't live on Lightlark? Because they have their new realms? Like I know things are
that
weakening, like
could
they're losing people too, but that's because of their curses. But like since they're
maybe
because Lightlark disappears. So it makes you wonder, does the people that don't live on Lightlark that fled still stay alive? Because I never
good
thought of that
question.
either. Um, but we do find out that Grimm actually lived on Lightlark for 20 years before the curses, as part of the treaty to not lose everything or more of their people.
And I'm assuming that he left when the curses were created as
Yes.
kind of like that safety thing with the other heirs and everything. Well, no, he had to go back anyways because their ruler sacrificed himself with the curse and everything, passing the power to the heirs. So he did have to leave anyway.
Yeah, because later on, and this may be jumping ahead because I don't remember, but we do find out. Yeah, we've actually find out in this chapter, um, his parents actually died from the curses because she asked him if he was the one to cast the curses, because of like the ancestor thing. And then he asked Isla if she would talk to him again, and she stated no, it's the reason that her parents are dead. And then he states that he wasn't the one to do it, and his parents also died from the curses. And then they get into a little fight on why they're both there. And Grimm knows that she has secrets, and this is why I believe that he knows what they are. Like he knows she's powerless, or he knows what she's doing,
Yeah.
sneaking out and trying to find something. And then she stated at the end, and this isn't like word for word, that it's almost as if he could sense her pain, that she was still in pain from her demonstration. So can he sense that? Like I know he can do emotions, but can he sense like more? Is that like his secret? Because we
It
don't know
could
his
be.
powers. We don't know all his powers. Either that, or he has the more powers because his ancestor also helped
Ooh.
Lightlark. King Oro is all of them. He has all their powers. Does the Nightshade ruler have it too? Because we don't know that yet. Now that we know a little backstory about Lightlark. So could
Yeah,
he
everybody's
have?
powerful because he's old as shit. Basically, like
Pretty much.
this almighty powerful warrior who's ancient and just some badass dude.
Okay, going into chapter 17 is Cleo's demonstration, and that was like quick. Like it was
Yeah.
like boom and then boom. Um, which she does hers in like the middle of the night, and it's a test of desire. I want to know though, because it didn't really state, and because when they had to do the labyrinth, um, into the freezing water, Isla didn't have better clothes on, so she was just in shorts and a tank top. So she was freezing in the water. Um, it was a ruler must deny the selfish wants of their heart for the good of their realm. But they really didn't state like what hers was. Like she just fought to make sure that she won to save her people.
Yeah.
But she
Yeah.
didn't read the slab at the end of it, like when she finally made it through the labyrinth.
Yeah, she was just worried about getting to the her room and um getting warmed up.
Right. That way, because she was losing consciousness.
I also do wonder if the king, like, he knows she's a smart person. He knows that there's a lot more to her, from the duel and like the demonstration, the throwing star, um, and things like that. But then with like the rash and stuff, and how she
Yes.
was able to just like name it right away without, like, with only being able to see like a little bit when he rolled his sleeve up,
But it made
and
her
the knowledge,
question,
and yeah,
like, why would
and
he be in a
like,
place?
mhm. And I liked when he had to thank her, when he said thank you, and it was like
Out of the
nothing he ever
ordinary?
has to say, like, is very forced.
Um, Back to like the trial, she did state, or she was wondering, um, that if the trial killed her, if part of the prophecy would be fulfilled. Like, is that like,
Okay,
or
I
is it
mean,
like
it's
Cleo
not an
trying to wean?
assassination.
No, yeah.
It's not an intended assassination. It would be accidental, but
Well,
it's still
I
like,
kind of think it's Cleo's demonstration, so it makes you wonder, did she do it on purpose? Trying to wean her out?
yeah,
Because it wouldn't surprise
it's
me
an
coming from
intentional,
Cleo.
unintentional type
Yes.
of thing. So,
Like, the best way to do it is during a trial. Well, it was the trial's fault, not like she didn't, she wasn't expecting anyone to die. They just happened to die. Um, Cleo won that. My opinion, they shouldn't be able to win their own demonstrations.
yeah,
Because, of course, they're the ones
she
setting
had,
it up.
she had an advantage.
Yeah,
She
because
had an advantage. Like, it's
it's,
water and cold, and,
you're
like,
the one setting it up. Like, you know what it entails. They shouldn't be able to win it, in my opinion.
agreed.
Um, we get a little bit more about Isla was taught that anything she wanted over saving her realm was selfish. And she wanted many, many things, and she was willing to do terrible things to get them.
Hmm.
Um, and then that she states that she'll find the bond breaker and break the curses, even if it breaks her, which she does feel like she's pretty much breaking now, especially after this trial,
Yeah.
because it seems like she wasn't healing from it.
Mhm. I like that we got a little bit more backstory on like some more of her training. Like she kind of like has that memory of being put out in the
Yeah, the woods.
um so
Okay, how does how do they know all the trials though? Like how did
what do
Poppy and Tara know exactly what to train her for?
I don't know. I mean, did they just train her in different scenarios from
Because it's like they
maybe
almost
did they
knew.
know did they have like oh were past centennials kind of like recorded in text of the
Like
things that
history
happened,
stuff.
taking past things and using those scenarios to kind of train her for anything that might be thrown her way, but to still be a seductress through most of it, or
See, yeah, it could be that because there's
because
only
I
what
don't know
this is their
how they would
fifth, right? This is the
do it.
fifth one. But if they switch them up, like that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you know exactly what to train her for if they switch them up?
Unless they're really old.
Did they not make it unless they didn't make it fully to the demonstrations? Because not everybody was there?
I don't know.
Wonder if we'll find more, if we'll find a little bit or get a little bit of more backstory with Tara Poppy. Okay, going into chapter 18, unless you had anything else you found on 17.
Nope.
Because
That
that was
was
mostly just about her trying to get through the labyrinth and trying to get back to warmth.
yep. Nope.
Um,
That's all that I had.
from here on out, like 18 to the 21 that we read is very, very interesting. Like all the events that happened. Chapter 18, it starts the full moon. Um, to where she was able to go to the Moon Isle, but she wasn't doing very good from the labyrinth being in the cold water. So Celeste had just suggested that she do it because Isla looked like she was on the brink of death, but Isla said no. Um Damn it. Did it again. I keep hitting the roller. Okay. Upon arriving to Moon Isle, the entire isle was empty due to there being the full moon, making the waves ravenous. But she did know that the library was located in the back of the castle, but everybody is hiding in the castle. And this kind of gives like a little bit more like why I think Celeste, or not Celeste, Cleo is forming an army. Um, Moon Isle was an ornament encased in ice, water, and glass, but she had to hide herself because no moonling should be outside right now during the full moon.
Didn't want to be spotted from high up in the castle by somebody.
So she that made her have to climb up the side of the castle, which she struggled. Um, because she was still weak from the frozen water. She did
Hmm.
fall partially, but she was able. Her necklace. I thought this was interesting. Her necklace was actually a dagger,
I love how she's always armed,
and
like
she did state
the
that, like
simplest of
the star in her hair as a pin, and then
things.
her necklace disguise or the dagger is disguised as a necklace, which kind of helped saved her in a way before she fell again.
Yeah.
Um, when she got there, Moon Isle was quiet and she thought it was unsettling. Like she got that unsettling feeling. But guards were patrolling certain corridors much more than she had seen on any other parts of the island. This was a small chapter, I believe, too. She had to she had to hide in a closet because someone had saw her. And that's when she finds out that Cleo is building an army or a legion, but
Hmm.
we don't know why or what's going on. I think she's building an army to steal the power.
Yep.
I believe she's going to be the one to get close enough to the king and steal the power. I truly believe that's why she's building an army.
That
She's gonna be the one to do whatever it takes to get the curses broke. Because why else would you need ships and why else would you need to build a legion?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have too much past that for chapter 18 as far as
No,
notes.
it was like a small one of
Um,
just her getting to the Isle and getting into the castle without being seen climbing up the side of it.
yeah. And then giving us more questions with
Yeah,
the
with
Legion
Clea.
thing.
Yeah, like why else would you need an army though unless you're trying to
A
build up
Legion, it's like,
to
it's all
overthrow.
suspicious.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Going into chapter 9, she does get caught in the room that she's hiding in, but she was able to knock out the guards out. Um, so she was as she was running away from them, she was trying to still find the library at the same time, but she ended up running into a dead end. But she realized that the wall that she ran into was not shaking as bad as like the castle from the waves because the castle's like on that little hill right by the water. Which I'm surprised they didn't like move elsewhere. Like hide somewhere else. Why are you hiding in a castle like right on the edge of the water?
Yeah.
Uh
Like she said, like how many times could a wave hit before it takes the castle down with it? Like before
right.
everything comes crashing down.
Right. Um but she realized the wall did not shake in front of her, so she hurried up and put on the gloves and was able to press it to the wall, and the wall moved like a puzzle, which opened up to the library.
Mm.
Um but she noticed every book was trapped in walls of ice, because Cleo made the whole library restricted. So what is she hiding? That raises like the question, like, what is she hiding? That she has to even keep the books from everyone. Um, and this was interesting. Like the back wall was like glass.
Yeah. Speaking of keeping everything hidden, she's older
She's one of the
than,
older ones.
like, I want to say they said she was older than like Oro. So she is, so is Grimm older? Or are they roughly the same age?
They might be roughly the same age.
So then is, so Cleo would be older than them. So could like she have knowledge of
The
the
Bondbreaker? Mm,
ancestors both creating Lightlark,
Lightlark?
and it's going to stay hidden, like she's got a text about it that
Mm.
nobody can see. I mean, she's definitely got something, or she's just selfish and doesn't want anybody to
Ooh,
know anything because she gives off that vibe.
a
She
light bulb
definitely
just
gives
went off.
mean girl vibes that
Is that
she
why
just
she didn't
doesn't.
show up? Is that why she didn't show up last year? Is because she was in the process of recruiting for her army or legion or getting everybody at their new isle? Like, hey, this is what's going to happen. I have people here on Lightlark and this is what they're doing. So be prepared for when it's over type thing. That would make sense on why she didn't show up. Is
Playing a
because
game of chess when everybody's playing checkers.
like she had the people on Lightlark already ready to go doing this and that, and then she had to stay back to get everybody prepared on their new isle or the new
Hmm.
lands. See, I always knew that she was very suspicious from the very beginning. Uh, Especially with her hatred towards Isla when Isla called her out, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yes, the back wall was glass, but it was enchanted because of the waves were about to take it out. Really,
Yeah.
it was enough to knock Isla down. And when she smacked her head again off the floor for one, but her body temperature was able to thaw out some of that floor, and that's where the relics were hidden. So why are the relics hidden though underground or like
Yeah,
in water? Like you have
in
books,
water
you
taints
have,
to the floor.
but it did state like weren't the books ruined? Do you have the books enchanted? Otherwise, they're gonna get waterlogged
They had to have
because they
been.
were chained down under. But there
Yeah.
was she didn't notice the bond breaker. Um, but at the
Also,
same
in the
time,
chapter, sorry, go ahead.
no, 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 go ahead.
Um, so just before that, they yell, "She's inside, get the ruler." And Isla has the thought that, ruler, she's supposed to be sleeping in the mainland castle. So, like, is she in her own castle? Is Cleo
Did she
is
sneak
Cleo
out
not
at
the
night?
ruler? Like, is she
Oh, I didn't
just
think of that.
acting ruler? Like, because nobody's supposed to be in the castle, so nobody's gonna know. Like, is there
Unless she
something?
sneaks out. Unless she sneaks out.
But
Although
would she
she would
think
sneak
to
out.
sneak
But
out
wait a
on
minute.
a full moon?
How would they get the ruler? How would they get the ruler? I just caught on to this. How would they get the ruler for her to get there? But wait.
Exactly. That's why now I'm like,
Well,
okay, is she the actual ruler? Do people
they can
think that the ruler
teleport.
is dead and it's her?
They can teleport. All the rulers can teleport. Isla has the star stick because she can't, because she has no powers.
Powerless.
So
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Cleo could teleport, but I don't know if does it still. I don't know if it still would affect her, like because it's a full moon.
I don't know. But that raised questions for me also with that.
But how do they communicate with her? Like how they be like, hey, somebody's in our
Can't leave.
library, come.
Yeah, they can't leave.
Yeah. So like, how are they?
Nobody can go to the mainland and get her. Like,
Yeah, that's like.
nothing.
But then, and they say like, "Whoa, she's on her way. There's nowhere for you to go." Okay, but how'd you get her? I never thought of that till now. Like, it like raises questions.
Raises more suspicions.
Yes.
All suspicious.
Does Cleo not have the curse? Is she like Isla, has powers but no curse?
And that's an interesting thought.
I don't know.
She would have been hiding that for a long time, though. Like having powers, no curse side of it. But if she didn't have a curse, if she didn't have the curse, then because like Isla doesn't have powers, but she still has the curse. So like if she
She
dies,
has
like the
her own
people,
curse. But she has her own curse. Being powerless is her curse. She just doesn't have the killing of someone she falls in
mm,
love, and she doesn't have to eat the hearts to stay alive.
yeah,
Like, so she
okay,
doesn't have their curse. Her own curse is not having powers or not being born with powers.
yeah.
Um,
But I am interested in the books with locks.
or the long keys. What are the keys for? That are as long as her arm.
Yeah, really.
Um, there was something else. I think there was other things that she had. I know gems. I think one of them was like a gem.
Yeah, crystal daggers. And then the entire legion shows up.
Yeah, but she had her star stick with her, so that's a good thing to where
Yeah, I thought that was pretty clever.
she could get back to her
'Cause Even
realm.
even I didn't see it playing out that way. That she was
Neither did
like
I.
gonna
Honestly,
whip it out.
I thought she was gonna go through the water. I'm not gonna lie. I thought she
I'm
was
like, what are
gonna
you gonna
go
do?
out the
Just
back.
look out the window?
Yeah. Because they can't go there, so I'm like, oh, maybe she
Yeah,
will. That
yeah.
was like that's my
And
first
brave
thought.
that spiral staircase outside that was covered in sea foam and
Yes.
just
Yeah, I thought she was
fucking
just gonna
swing
go
for
out.
life.
Yes. It didn't dawn on me that, hey, she's got the star stick. I thought she was going to go swimming and a nightly swim. Um, Going into chapter 20, she's having dreams about Grimm. They're
Like
connected
she's
somehow. They have to be
I don't know.
connected.
Oh, I do think that there's a connection, but I also think she's just extremely infatuated by him. That plays into it as well. Like
Maybe it has to do something because they are known to be like seductress. Like, do they have that like type of like connection, like kind of like that sexual connection, like with
they
whoever
got
they like
chemistry.
have,
Yeah.
and it just like
Like
builds off of that because she had the strange dreams about him, and it was like flashes of him, of her, and then them together. So they're connected, like somehow, I believe.
yeah.
Um, this chapter was very, very interesting. And I'm glad
It
that we read past.
was
I'm glad we read
real
past this to the next one.
sneaky.
I'm glad we read past this to the next one, but at the same time, I wish we would have went another one because now I have to know.
Yeah.
But she believes that the Bondbreaker is on Sun Isle, but has no hair dye and no way of getting gold clothes.
hmm I was gonna
Do you
say
have?
something, but it's for the next chapter.
Oh, okay.
I was about to say, but now she has
Yeah,
a
yeah.
way in, but we're not there yet.
uh, Cleo knew someone attacked her guards, and Isla knew it was her. Or she felt it that Cleo knew it was her. And I'm assuming that's why Cleo made the statement. But Isla said that she didn't think that she said it as an enemy, but as like a joke about because they got the tea. I think it was about the
Yeah.
splash of blood, drinking her tea with
Yeah.
a splash of blood. Um, and then she wonders if anybody else knows that Cleo's pretty much ready for war. They're not putting like two and two together about the ships. And I knew when the tea came out, because we find out that it's Aura's demonstration, but when they described each color of the tea, there was a red one, there's a blue one, and a gold one. Something was fishy. I knew right
Fancy
away.
time. I just thought it was fancy tea time. I
No, I'm
did
like, wait a
not
minute.
pick up on it being a demonstration until he was like, "Oh yeah, by the
Welcome to
way,
my
like
demonstration. And it's about their
yeah."
secrets, their darkest secrets. But Grimm
And
said
I
he's
want
not
to
a
know
tea
everybody's.
person. Grimm said he detests tea, but how did his secret show up? Because he wasn't very happy with whatever his cups, because he sent them to break. But he
Never
didn't.
drank it.
I, yeah,
Like
he detests tea,
he
but did he drink it? Or does
maybe
it
he drank
automatically
it
just
out
show?
of the
Or maybe like it
oh,
automatically
that
shows?
like an enchantment, like
Yeah.
after so up empties, but your tea leaves are still there. Maybe I
But
don't
yeah,
know.
I
Maybe he
got
drank it out of the also. Like I
maybe
don't
because
know.
I got suspicious though. I got suspicious on the tea because you're having tea time. Why do you need three different colors, three different flavors, and three different styles of it made if you're just having tea
I
and
just thought
chatting with no
I just thought maybe he
snacks?
didn't know, like fancy tea time. He didn't know what people were gonna like and just wanted to give an assortment. I definitely did not see demonstration time coming
I
at
didn't
all.
see a demonstration, but I thought
At
something was
all.
fishy about the tea. Because this is
Like
when Cleo joked about the blood.
yeah, but the gasp I gasped when I read "Welcome to my demonstration." I was like, "You bitch!" Like was not
um,
good at all.
I love though her retort about that they like to drink their tea in the skulls
Of
of
their
their
conquest.
conquests. I did like her retort to that. Like she was showing Cleo like you're not gonna get to me. Even though like she was like nervous as hell hoping that Cleo didn't know
Yeah.
that it was her that had broken into the library.
I will say though, when like I know it said at the top leaves, but when it said your greatest secret is written, or it is truth tea. When I got to that part, I thought everybody was fucked. They were gonna
I
get
knew.
questions like it was a
Oh,
truth
yes.
serum.
I thought
I
everybody
didn't
was
pick
going to
up
know.
on
I thought
like
everybody
the
was going to know their secrets. Like, it was automatically, like, you drink it and it's just going to, like, automatically
yeah.
reveal and everybody's going to know it. Not that it was at the bottom. They pulled a Harry Potter at the
They
bottom
did.
of the
They did
cups.
with the Grim at the
Mm-hmm.
bottom of the cup for Harry and stuff. Yeah, it was a total thing.
Um,
But I definitely thought it was going to be like some sort of truth serum, and they were each going to get
like, blurted out
like
or something. Like,
questioned, or
and they
yeah,
can't
like they
tell
were going to be
why.
asked a question, and everybody was just fucked.
And they can't tell a
I thought,
lie. But Isla, we pretty much knew it's hers with no powers. I was actually honestly surprised that Celeste kind of conveyed that to Isla that it was her. Like her secret was keeping Isla's secret.
yeah.
So that was, I didn't expect that. So maybe either that or it's that she's using her. It's still about Isla, but it's not what Isla think it is. It's that Celeste is using her, and she's like internally panicking, like, "Uh oh, her secret's not safe anymore."
Yeah.
Um, um, Oro announces that whoever shares their secret wins, but Celeste broke her cups first, and then Azul. Uh, Grim looked murderous, and this is why I want to know what is his secret. If it was enough to make him murderous and angry, what was it? Like, are we gonna find that out? I gotta know.
So
I'm
yeah.
nosy. I gotta know. Give me something. Um, and this is like I want more backstory on that. Like, and then so it came down to Cleo and Oro. But whoever won this, because it was tied between the two of them, that whoever won this got to pick the pairings. Um, Cleo's cups broke. She broke her cups because she wasn't willing to share his secret. So I'm wondering, is it
The
about her
Legion,
legion? Yes.
the war, like is she actually
Is that like,
building for a war? Like
yeah, and she can't let people know? Like, yeah, you're not going to find out. I got to keep this
'cause
secret.
if it wasn't something bad against her, I feel like she would have continued to
Or,
stare down with the king and like try to win that trial because
right.
that's just how she's come off so far from what we've read as being this like high and mighty,
Excuse me.
I'm better than you type of person, like holds herself to a
Or
high standard.
I feel like maybe it's that she wants to steal power. Like I said earlier, like could her secret be that
Yep.
she's trying to steal the power?
Maybe that's what her legion is for.
See, that's what I think. Like,
Maybe if she built her legion, built her ships, starts this war,
and this goes
then
on.
she's either way going to steal that power and just become the top
Um,
person.
because Oro's ended up winning this one, and his was, and this blew my mind, is that he is dying.
Yeah.
It did
That would have
not.
been an
I did
insane
not. Oh,
cliffhanger for us to
yes,
stop this episode. Like
yes. I was not expecting
where
that
we
at
stopped
all.
was a cliffhanger enough,
Yes.
but
Oh,
like this one would have been pretty big.
yes. But yeah, that like blew my mind. See it, and again, is like now people's gonna be like, oh, I have to break these curses. I'm gonna have to steal the power. I have to do this.
Yeah.
Like, there's, it's gonna get dirty. It's gonna get dirty. And that was like the end of that chapter. Like,
So like with him dying, that's obviously affecting everything on Lightlark
because he's
itself.
the power, yeah, he's the power source.
But with all of the other isles, are they like since they're separate
See,
from
that's what I was
Lightlark,
saying. Yeah,
are
that's
they
like,
just not are they just not is it not trickling down to them? with him being like getting weak with dying.
See,
They it's
is
just
that
type of a trickle that they're not feeling it yet. That they're not becoming weaker. It's just the people on the actual island, like on the mainland,
but it was
um,
stated in the beginning. I
weaker
think the wildlings were getting weaker.
because of Isla not having power. So she's automatically, since she's their source of power, she's not able to give anything back since she's powerless. So they are feeling
Was
weaker
she born
from it.
powerless because there's not enough?
Oh, I didn't think about that.
It just like
Is she younger than Celeste?
I don't know if she's younger than Celeste, but they're like right around because Celeste isn't 25 yet.
Right.
Like we know
And I
she's
don't
not 25
think
yet.
Isla's
She's
25.
not very. I see. I don't know her age, but she's not very old. But she was born after the curses. Like they were born after the curses. So is that why she's powerless? There wasn't enough. Um.
No. Okay,
um.
baby.
Yeah, she's at the door.
Right,
Back on
chapter
subject. Oh
21.
yes. Um. Okay, so after the king had relayed his secret, everything became um chaos. I kid you not. I wrote kids instead of king. I put kid's secret instead of king's secret. My bad.
It happens.
um,
I
Isla
hope
and
I didn't miss
Celeste.
anything. I was rushing through my notes, like
I
trying
tried
to make sure I had
skimming.
everything written
I
down
don't
because I
think.
was so behind from this week.
I don't think.
So. But it wasn't
I
very big.
like.
So I think we did a pretty good job at picking out what we needed.
Yeah. Isla and Celeste now need to find the bond breaker more than ever. Now that they know that the king is dying. Um,
Yeah.
and see, this is where I came across is like, is this why Cleo's building the army? Did she know? Does she know about Oro already because of her people? Like her people are realizing, hey, something's going on, you know?
Yeah.
Or like is she planning to steal his power because she knows? Excuse me. Um, got trouble.
Yeah, there's definitely something about this centennial that is suspicious for everybody, but now is just like way
See,
suspicious
and
for
I'm like,
Cleo.
is this why? Like again, is this why she didn't attend the last centennial? Like because she was planning, like she has to get the new land area like up to date, up to speed. Like, hey, this is what's gonna happen. This is what I'm gonna try and do. We have to get this curse broke. Does she know about the bond breaker? Is this like maybe she knows about the bond breaker and she's building this legion to overthrow
Yeah.
to go find the bond breaker because she knows where it's at. So it raises a lot of questions now. But Azul was the one that stepped up and asked him to explain. But I guess since the last centennial, the island has started to become weak. Buildings are now ruins, elders are dying, and ancient creatures are vanishing. And then he does state that everyone living away from the island or the isle is taking a toll on him and Lightlark. So with more people
Maybe
spreading out, is it draining him more?
that's possible. Maybe he gets like if he's close to the rulers, maybe they feed him as
Like a
much as
source,
he feeds into the mainland, into Lightlark.
like
Maybe it kind of is
he
like a give and
they're
take type
yeah,
of thing.
like they're his source of power. He's everything's source of
Yeah.
power. So it's like a
Which
chain reaction
Yeah, which
type
kind
thing.
of is what gave me the idea of with the new isles being separate, that like Lightlark is feeling more of the weakening than the New Isles because they're not connected. So it just hasn't trickled down to them as far yet with feeling
Mm.
a weakness of power because nobody came into the Centennial like questioning like with like feeling like they're weakening. Um so like all of this was a shock for them to
Or
hear
we
that
don't
he's dying
know.
because they don't it hasn't come out that they feel that something's up, or maybe that's why everybody feels that this one
It's the last
is
because
important
they
because they
do.
feel it.
Yeah, and they're not going to let
So
on.
yeah,
You don't
okay.
want to let on be like, "Oh, they're weakening.
Yeah,
We go after them." Like that could be too.
yeah,
Um so
I
that
can see it as that
brings,
now.
yeah. Oreo believes this is going to be their last chance. He doesn't I'm assuming he doesn't believe that it's going to make another 100 years if they don't get
Yeah.
it this time. Um Everyone learns that the king knows he is dying by his skin because it's turning a gray, almost blue like color, and he's struggling to keep the island warm. And this is why we finally learn why he doesn't want the fires to go out. He's trying to keep that warmth.
Yep.
Um, in this one, like he brings up the prophecy again. He says, only joined can the curses be undone. And he said that's why they break into pairs. But I got to thinking, is it not pairs? Do they all six need to work together and not
That's what I
not split out by two, two, and two? They all
hmm
six need to brainstorm, and that's
that
what
was
I
one
believe.
reason why that was one reason why I felt that this one was going to be different because the Nightshade, like Grim was actually invited. Like
Mm-hmm.
only joined after one of six is one, but like being together, like that was the I think one thing that or one of the things, not the one thing, but one of the things that they did wrong previously was that not all of them were together. They're
And they're breaking
thinking of
off
it
in
as a pair
pairs.
thing, but they all need to work together.
Yeah.
So, original offense, did they all come together once before to fight for Lightlark back when things were good? Like back when Lightlark was created, before they got greedy, like and fought against each other. Is the original offense them coming together for the sake of Lightlark? Like
Mm.
doing something like that. Um, I don't know. I do think that a sacrifice. I don't think it's anybody that they need to kill. I'm starting to think now that it needs to be a sacrifice for the greater good.
But they
Like,
all six have to work together, and somebody's gonna have to, like, I volunteer. Like, I feel
yeah.
like and that's where I think that's where they're messing up in the prophecy. Like that's one of them, is that it's supposed
hmm
to be all six and not pairs.
Yeah.
And then the big kicker of it all, the big surprise, was Oro picked Isla. Now, this raised questions. Like why? Why did he pick her? Because Celeste stated he's not gonna pick me or you because we are the weakest. They're the newbies.
She showed her hand too much.
See, and that's what makes me like, okay, are you like doubting? Like, okay, he's not gonna pick you, so you're not safe. That threw that like, because I told you I don't trust Celeste, so that made me like, is she saying that to Isla because it works in her favor? Like, he's not gonna pick her to save her because the king technically can't die. Oro can't die unless somebody steals his powers. Otherwise, Lightlark crumbles. So, in my mind, Celeste said that because she doesn't want Isla to be paired up with him because then she's kind of safe.
Yeah.
Like, them red flags are going. But, like I said, like, why? Is there a reason? He specifically picked her because she noticed, or she believes that he hated saying it. Like, when he chose her, it's like he didn't want to choose her. So, There has to be a reason. Does he know that she's powerless? Does he know her plans? Like, does he know she's looking for the bond breaker? Or is he
Does
protecting her?
is it protection, or does he know that she could be a weak link?
I don't think he would pick a weak
Like does
link.
he? Oh, because you can't kill your partner. Never
Yeah,
mind.
because he can't. See, and I think that's why Celeste said what she said. Like, he's not going to pick you. So, like, she
It'd
doesn't
be better to
believe.
put them two together because they're the weaker of the two because they're the babies essentially,
But
and
Celeste can protect herself of, like, oh, you take her type ordeal. You kill her, save me. She has no
yeah.
powers. But I wonder, though, at the same time, is he protecting her because he knows that she has no powers? Because she fell. He saved her when she fell off the cliff from startling her. Either that or he felt bad because he startled her and she fell off.
Wonder. I wonder if uh she'll ask him about that.
Ooh, get some
I wonder if
answers
she'll
on that.
ask him about that since they're partners and like they'll actually most likely kind of like have time by themselves together. She's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
like, so why you do that? And he'll probably give her some lame excuse like,
I'm still
oh,
Team
I couldn't
Grim.
have you die. I couldn't have you die right away because then the Centennial would be wasted. Blah blah blah.
I didn't like that we didn't find out in this chapter, and hopefully we find out in the next few chapters or the next chapter who's paired up. Who else is paired up? Like who
Yeah.
got who? I'm gonna guess that Cleo and Azul. I think them two,
Yeah, I think
and
them two,
Celeste and
and then
Grim.
Celeste and Grimm.
Because I don't
Like I'm
see
gonna have
Azul or Cleo being stuck with Grim because nobody's gonna want to be stuck with him. My top two that get sacrificed is either Cleo because of her hatred and her army building and her secrecy, or it's gonna be Celeste. I think one of them too. Those are my like top choices that have to get through, or maybe all six of them survive. They find a way. But wait, what was
oh,
the?
I don't have an ending theory
I don't
100%.
have, and neither do I.
Like I don't even have
Uh,
like the start of one
what
yet.
is the full? Let me see here. Mm,
Full prophecy is exactly what he just recited to them, is all that we've gotten so far.
okay, so it does say that a ruling line has come to an end.
Yeah. Only then can history amend.
Maybe it's not one of them dying. What the fuck?
Ooh,
What
ooh,
is
ooh.
that?
I'm
Go
sorry, my
away.
brain is working.
I
My brain
know,
is
like
my
I'm
brain.
trying to like they. There's no like king, full king. Go.
Does Oro have to admit that it wasn't just his ancestors?
Oh.
A ruling line? Like
He has to
he
admit,
like
like, so
we're
there's gonna be.
the sole ruler
They
of
have to like.
Lightlark come
Ooh,
together
yes,
and do
yes.
something
Like
different.
nobody has to die.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
So that's good. I still don't really know what the original offense could be because
No, because we don't have
like
much
if the
backstory
original
about
offense if the so
something happened,
when
and
the
then
original offense has been committed again, I don't really have an idea of what that would be because I don't know.
that's why I think
I
it's
don't really have an idea
Sunlane,
of what the original offense was, other than
Sunlane,
maybe
Nightshade, dueling. I feel like that's the fence. I feel like
but
that
this
tension.
happened a long time after the war, after
But
they
maybe it's
battled each other.
because. But is
So
it because Nightshade went off because of it?
maybe it was just like a long, sought off, sought out thing. Are we
Maybe
gonna
the
find out that
prophecy.
like but we're gonna find out that everybody thought the Nightshades did it, but it was actually the Sunlings
Oh,
that fucking spun the curses.
Yeah, because they
because
believe the
they're
nightshades
high
can
and
do.
mighty and everything.
Well, because we find out that nightshades can do curses. Like,
Yeah.
that's why they believe it was Grimm. But could the offense be Nightshade moving away? Like, hey, you pushed them out because of greed. So the prophecy was made to bring them back
We've
together.
got to we've got to get some sort of an idea within the next few chapters. Like there's got to be something coming up that gives us more of an idea of what it is. But I think we've gotten part of it kind of figured out. I feel like
Watch us be
possibly.
totally,
I know.
watch us be totally wrong. Like none of
I,
this is right.
I think it's a sacrifice thing. I think that Oro has to forfeit being a ruler. Like I 100% stand behind my idea that he has to forfeit being king for ruling line coming
Or
to an end.
share it, or share
Part
it
of it.
with the nightshades.
Maybe
Like,
he
hey,
doesn't know.
you need to bring the nightshades back.
Yeah. And maybe he doesn't know.
Oh, I think he
Maybe
knows.
it was hidden from him.
I think he
Um,
knows, and that's the tension between him and Grimm.
maybe why he was never invited. Like he never invited Grimm before because they don't want that secret to come out. Like if he's not here, he can't talk shit.
Because that's why I think he knows, because then Grimm had to do the treaty after the fallout. Like Grimm went and lived for 20 years before the curses were spun. And that's when he had to go back because his parents, he was the next ruler, so he had to go back.
My gears are rolling.
Which got,
She asked if Grimm spun the curses.
yes, and he said no.
What if and everybody thinks that the Nightshade did it?
His dad, his
But
parents.
yeah, maybe his parents did it. So he didn't do it. He thinks that the Nightshades didn't do it, but it could have
Oh.
actually been the Nightshades.
Could it have
Maybe his
been
parents,
Oro's
maybe
brother?
his parents, maybe, or his dad. And then maybe they also didn't know that coming with the curses that they were gonna have to make a sacrifice, and it was like, oh fuck, like what
Well,
did I
we
do?
don't know about
Did
his
they make the
parents.
sacrifice going to?
I don't think it would be Oro's parents. It would have to be his brother, because his brother was the one around with the curses. Like when the curses, I think, spun, and then
So
he
he was,
became. So I think it would have been his brother and his wife, the Starling. But
yeah,
they were trying to bring
but
peace, so I
maybe
don't know.
so maybe people were like partially right that the Nightshades did it, and everybody just assumed it was Grimm out of hatred, and so he's half right. He didn't do it, but
Did
I
the
don't know. I'm going
Moonlings do
off too
something?
much.
Did the Moonlings do something because of their greed before Cleo took over? Like,
Yeah.
because she's
Oh,
greedy.
now my brain's rolling with like, oh, it could be this person, it could be
Her
this person.
personality, though, Cleo's personality, and looking at what she looks like, does not click. She does not look like she would act like that. It's not clicking for me right now.
Although she's giving me um Ice Queen from Snow White and the Huntsman.
I've never seen that.
Um, it's so good. I love that movie. But the second one. So I don't know if it's still called Snow White and the Huntsman or it's just the Huntsman, but it'd be the second one. Um, Emily Blunt's character. That's kind of like the vibes, the Icy Queen vibes that she's giving,
Mm-hmm.
but doesn't go with the way she looks type thing. But definitely the vibes she gives.
But it does prove Celeste wrong, that the king wouldn't pick her.
And I do think that it's because she showed her hand. Like he knows something's up. And I
Or
feel like he
he
knew it from the
knows.
duel. Like, I
Mm,
want her. She's
he
gonna be my partner.
knows. He knows she's stronger than what she's portraying.
She's stronger. She's more
Smarter.
knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she knew about the
Or
rash,
he
how
can,
to
or we're
heal it.
completely wrong. We're completely wrong, and he knows that she's powerless, and he's protecting her because he knows something. Maybe he knows about Cleo. Like maybe he knows they're out to get her. Like everybody's out to get
Maybe
her.
he knows she's sneaking around.
He wants in on it. He wants to know what her plans
I
are.
don't know.
I
But I'm hoping we
am
get a lot
ready.
more answers
Guess
in the
what?
next 7 chapters.
It's 22 through 29.
27.
22 through
No,
27.
you're
That's only
right.
5 chapters. It'd be 29. It's 7.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like, wait a minute, did I do my math wrong? Like, I'm like counting in my head over here.
Nope, you're right. Because then it's 30 to 37, 37 to 34.
I don't have it. I have it written down. I just,
Yeah.
I just don't have it in front of me right
No.
now. Hold on here. I have a picture of it. Oh, it's on our Instagram.
Yeah, I can't count today. So I think the last
Actually,
one will have, yeah, because there's 49 chapters.
it's 22 through 28 is the way
28.
you have it.
Because 22, yeah.
And then the following week is 29 through 35. Okay, so the next ones we'll discuss 22 through 28.
Okay.